Tell everybody what your jig is here, man. So what is it? What are you making?
Well, this is my jig. It's an Irish jig from the homeland. No. All right, so what this jig is.
Hey, welcome back to the garage, everyone. All right, so this past weekend we didn't really have a whole lot of really solid content, but I do have a hodgepodge of things that went on around the garage here, and I think you might enjoy. We're kind of at a standstill right now because, well, I got a carburetor on the Corvette that's shipped off to the pro rebuilder. He's still working on it. The Cadillac lifters are off at the cam grinder. They're probably 2 weeks out, I would imagine, maybe a week, not quite sure just yet. Got a brand new set of Cadillac head bolts on the way, and we'll explain why a little later in today's video. Also, you probably are not seeing any Cadillac heads either on my little mobile work table or over there on the bench. There's a good reason for that as well. One of my viewers spoke up last week and said, you know, you probably ought to send those off to a local machine shop and make sure they're square. And I thought to myself, yeah, he's right. So that's what I did. And yesterday I took the heads up to Birmingham and dropped them off at a nice local family-owned machine shop. They specialize in sort of classic car stuff, a lot of high-performance things as well. I just told them, I said, look, just clean them up, you know, put them on the milling machine, check them out, make sure they're square, mill them down just a touch if they need it. But anyway, when we get them back, they should be good to go. And all we'll have to do is reassemble them. So that being said, the valves have already been cleaned up. They're right here and they've already been lapped. It's just sitting there waiting on the heads to return from the machine shop. Also, the rest of the valve train is sitting over there underneath the cabinet. At some point throughout the week though, we're going to need to check the camshaft, and I think that's going to be this following weekend. I'm going to need to check the camshaft lobes. I'm going to need either the lifters returned, or I've got some lifters from the Corvette. I may clean up one of those and use it temporarily, just, you know, oil it up really good with some Lucas assembly lube. Just slip it down in the bore, put it on the cam lobe, use a dial indicator, turn the engine over, and we can move that one amongst each cylinder and check the cam lobes and make sure that the cam is good to go. If it's not, we're going to replace it. If it's good to go, it's staying in the motor. And last but not least, our good friend Carport Forge came down for a little visit, and well, we just had a little fun in the shop this past weekend making a new knife design that he came up with, so stick around for that. I think you might like it. But for right now, let me go ahead and show you a little bit of footage I had from a couple of days ago when we pulled the passenger side head off. Had a couple of minor issues, but nothing ground shattering. But I would like to show you a couple of little issues that you might run across if ever you decide to take a head off a 472 or a 500 Cadillac engine. So you guys stick around. We'll be right back. All right, well, we got the driver's side head all squared away and got the valves lapped. And it's time to pull the passenger side exhaust manifold off. So, there, I kind of broke that one loose already. Just a good old classic Napa wrench. One of my favorite wrenches. These have been soaking a good long while. There we go. They're coming loose pretty good. That one was really loose. Last one. Come on, baby. Please be good to me. Other than being in a very awkward place. Oh, can't get leverage. Gotta get the breaker bar. Oh, come on. That's par for the course. All right, I had to work at that one with two hands and all that kind of stuff, but I think we have it. Still pretty stiff, but it's not breaking on us, so. There we go. All right, I got them all broke loose. Let me get them off there with a ratchet and get that thing off the car. All right, there's your passenger exhaust manifold. This one had a gasket on it. Looks like a, I'm guessing this manifold had been off of the engine at some point in the car's life. And they reinstalled it with a gasket. Just an assumption. I'm thinking these things didn't come with gaskets originally. Maybe there was a leak and they put one on it. Who knows? But just wanted to make sure that, there was no exhaust leaks, so I wouldn't have expected to see any cracks. 1495095 part number. Some interesting casting stamps there. You guys comment down below. Let me know what this means. Is this like date? Looks like a sundial. Is that a date image? Let me know what that means. There's an 8 there, CFD. I don't know what all that stuff means. There's an interesting casting there with a little captain's wheel there. All this stuff would mean a lot to, someone who actually knows what they're talking about. Let's see, what is that? Is that a date? 167? Maybe this part was made in 67? Pictograph of a couple of screws there. Kind of strange. Anyway, there you go. One exhaust manifold. And there's the other one there. It's ready to go off to the engine shop. And all those valves are lapped, and that guy's wrapped up and ready for service. Disregard that mess on the floor. We'll just ignore that. We're going to set our manifold over here. The rest of the parts are in the trunk, by the way. And the old passenger side head is sitting there waiting for us. So I soaked these bolts down with some of that stinky 3M stuff about a week ago, so they've been juicing there for quite a while now. These have never presented a problem, but these guys here, they're pretty tight. So up next, I guess I'll get the big wrench on them. I got the passenger side head off, got the valves out and everything, got the box of many things populated with the springs and the keepers and whatnot. And let's see, got more stuff over there. Had to take the alternator off to get this one because the alternator mounting boss bolts in right there, matter of fact. And had to cut this hose here, part of the heater system. And I'll need to take that off of there before we send this off to the machine shop. But a little something about these exterior bolts that are not covered up inside the valve cover. This one on the end doesn't give any problems because I think it goes into a cooling jacket, but these don't. These are very prone to corrosion. Not inside the engine block, but inside the head. I'm not sure how it happens, but corrosion will set up, up in the hole, up in there somewhere, and it's black. Maybe it's a sealant the factory used. I don't know. And it was this bolt here on the right before the end, on the same side of the engine, passenger and driver, that gave me the problem. This one was pretty bad. You couldn't extract the bolt like that because up inside here, about right in there, it was just so impacted with all this corrosion. It was black too. It wasn't rusty. It was like carbon and all kinds of nasty stuff. So eventually, I had to pull out a 1/2-inch bit and just go ahead and just hone this hole out a little bit. I didn't take any metal off. It was just big enough to get in there and just clean up that hole really good. The bolt that I did pull out, I couldn't get it out. I had to cut the head off with the cutoff wheel, sure enough. And then I pulled it out, the other way. So, yeah, that's how bad it was. But anyway, did that and then ran a 1/2-inch bit up through there and cut all that stuff up and cleaned it up. And, when it goes to the machine shop and they run it in their cleaner and everything, they'll take care of the rest. But anyway, so up next, it's time to go ahead and do a kind of a preliminary cleaning here. I want to clean it up just good enough to lap the valves in because, if you don't get some of this stuff off, it'll just be a great big old mess when you try to lap valves in, and everything will just go everywhere and it'll just ruin your day. But right now we'll go ahead and do a preliminary cleaning on this head. you need to do a little bit of cleaning before you do before you lap the valves in, because, well, it just makes a great big mess. And you got to get all this in here, get this carbon out of here with a wire wheel. And I bought one just for the occasion. It's over here somewhere. Where is it at? Here it is, right here. This little guy here, picked it up at Lowe's. That works really well. You can get it down in there like that and get the carbon out inside there. So before you lap the valves. So that's the plan. That's what I got next. So I'll do some cleaning, wire wheel inside of this, and then lap these valves. So got the driver's side. All the valves are lapped up, cleaned up, stowed away, greased up. I got to clean these valves, obviously, too, before I lap them. So, and this thing right here wins the Best Tool a Purchase Award for 2025. What a fantastic piece of machinery that is. All right, let me continue on. Let me do some cleaning. That'll work all right. That worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I want to cut it this way, but I want to kind of...
The vise is at your command, sir. You man the machine, I'll man this.
Okay. Tighten that up, Tommy.
Yeah, we need a little more juice on there, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah, let me make it level.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you loosen it up.
Mm-hmm.
Let me put it down.
Yeah, I need to tighten up my jaws.
You open up just a smidgen. Okay, now close that cover.
My vise is it's junk.
All right.
Let me tell you what, you ain't lived until you have 2 grinders in your life.
I suppose you've got 2 electric drills too, don't you?
Ah, you damn right I do. Anyway, this one don't have a shield on it, so be careful now.
All right.
I gave this to Dr. Eyeball when he was here, and nearly to kill his thumb off.
Let's see what this does.
But yeah, just put your glove on before you do that.
You know, aesthetically,
Yeah, that looks pretty cool, actually.
that's what I was just thinking. I'm just going to lightly...
Just lop the top off of those ridges off.
Well, because when we do the bevel, it's going to come up to here.
That's pretty daggum cool.
And I may just keep it flat like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe do the other one. But I am going to keep the other side.
All right. We didn't adjust it properly.
That thing's got to come out.
Yep, you're right. It needs to come out. So take this piece of shit here and you throw it over there. Because, you know, it's just not that important. Tell everybody what your jig is here, man. So what are you making?
Well, this is my jig. It's an Irish jig from the homeland. No. All right, so what this jig is, it's meant to hold it so when you're cutting your bevel,
Yeah.
the angle of the knife,
All right.
it's easy. Yes, you can do it by hand.
So you're making a jig to cut a bevel on a knife blade.
Right, so I can be consistent, quicker.
So you can make a lot of them and sell them on Etsy.
Right, yeah, right. Right now I just want to do this, but the way it works is you'll clamp it to here like this.
Right.
And by adjusting this, it will angle it up. But in order to do that, it has to be perfectly flat, and this ain't flat.
You need something to hold that knife against that jig. Would you like a screw clamp? A steel screw clamp?
Yeah, it's got to be able to go through the grinder, though. Yes, I did not screw them in right. That's because I did not have proper... That's what happens when you use Harbor Freight shit.
What about this is going to make the bevel?
It's going to be like...
So you screw these screws down and it tilts this whole thing. So that makes the angle. I'm with you now.
I'm glad somebody is.
It does look pretty good.
Yeah. I like to go slightly less than the thickness of a dime. Shoot for about 40th. Okay, all right.
So we're going to shoot for 40 thousandths?
Yeah.
All right, well, we are at 68. The more material that you take off of this, the more material you have to take off of this.
Well, good morning. This is Mac Barnes here with Carport Forge, and I'm with my good buddy Impala Man. What we're going to do is we're going to make a knife. As you see, last night we ground it out from an old file. The old file's got a lot more carbon in them, better than the newer stuff. That's why people use them. What we're going to do is we're going to heat up this railroad spike to get this quench, this oil, to 130 degrees. So right now it's 40 degrees. This right here is 42 degrees. We got to get this temp up to 130. So we're going to heat this up. We're going to pick it up there with the tongs.
Hell, we might as well just get the grill out and set the oil vat on the grill.
We could, or we could just do it old school style, you know?
I'm joking.
We're going to do primitive. All right.
Yeah. Open flame near a vat of oil. That's...
I like where your head's at, Mike. Let's,
strike it.
I'm going to move it over here.
All right.
Yep. So I've learned a little bit. This is the rosebud. Makes the flame nice and wide. All right. And puts the cutting cord. Are you going to hold that thing? So right now it's close to 1,500. See how it catches on fire? It's all pretty. Everybody does this.
160, 150.
There you go. All right, so already this oil was cold. It was what, 42 degrees, and it heated up.
We need to do it again.
Yeah, let's do it again. Because fire is good. So what we're going to do is we're going to heat this up to non-magnetic. Observe. Here's the steel. It's magnetic. When you heat it up to non-magnetic, it won't stick. That's the beauty of it.
What is that temperature?
1475. All right, we're eyeballing this. You do it straight down. Okay, you do this, keep some of the bubbles from forming on it. You're not supposed to be taking it out. No, it did not work. And that's sometimes got to...
Now it goes in the oven, right? To rest or what? Just to get the
timing and rest.
Perspective.
All right, so has this extended?
Probably by about 25%. Take that weld down.
Can I do the other side? At this point, Mike is going to try something new.
36 grit.
Oh my gosh, let the sparks fly. You know, it's going to heat up. So, hey, hot. Hey. Fire. I wouldn't go any tighter than that.
Let's clean it up and then twist it. What's up, babe?
But the knife in the oven is ready to beep.
Oh, good. Would you do me a favor? Would you turn the oven off and just take it out and set it on top of the stove, please?
Thanks, hon.
Thank you. Oh, where's your wire brush?
Your knife is ready.
I think that's the best quote of the tape.
All right, we just got through doing a bend out there with the rosebud on the old fire poker. How about that?
Very nice. Now, it is a little tight, but I've never really done a twist on a square stock before.
Yeah, okay.
But it
Actually, it's pretty good. It worked out really well.
I could have put this closer together, but just didn't know what I was talking about.
I think it looks good. It's straight, too.
So you want this part to be straight, like along this line here, and it is.
All right, so anyway, when you're using a wire wheel, if you don't know, there's the rotation, right? You never want to be using it like this. If the wire slings out, it's going to go, right? You want to be on this side of the wheel or this side of the wheel. You don't want to be here. These wires sling out. Over time, that's how they wear out. These wires sling out. You never want to be over here.
Gotcha.
You want to be here or there.
Gotcha.
We left out a few steps here. Let's fill in the good people, what we did. Okay. Give a high-level review over the last couple of hours.
We took the jig, ground it out, and then turned it over. Then Mike pointed out and said, you know, we didn't file all the little filing grooves out, so it ain't ever going to get sharp.
Yeah.
And I said,
that little bit of stuff you see on the back side of the blade is grinding dust from the whetstone, so disregard that.
So it, but you can still see some of this.
Yeah.
It's most smooth, but down here, I angled it a little bit.
Keep in mind, folks, this is a file, and you can't file a file with a file, so we're using other things to file the file. And what kind of a knife did you say this was?
This is a...
Sort of a tanto knife?
Yeah, it's sort of a tanto.
Right.
Yeah, it's because of this wedge shape here.
Tanto.
Tanto.
Yeah.
And it's based on the Japanese, those little small...
Nothing to do with Kemosabe then?
No. People like to have this angled blade because it's strong. This is meant to be a everyday carry, your EDC. Put it on the grinder. We hit it again, then finally I hit it more, and I got it to where it's good angle. Here's your bevel. Here, bevel could be a little bit higher, but you know this is how we're doing it, and that's how it's going to be. And then now you do this is a sharpening stone. You got 800, 1,000 on the other side.
Wet rock. So you soak those stones in a bucket of water first,
That's right? Yep. Because the water has to get in all the little spaces so it doesn't start to. When it does that, you just get your handy dandy water bottle.
Yeah.
So you don't have to put your hands in the cold water.
Yeah, because it's like 10 degrees in the shop right now.
It's quite cold. And then a little jig comes with it. Now, real knife makers, what they do is they can do it by hand.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. And I set it, and you put 8 pounds of pressure going forward, then pull it back.
Are you sure that's 8 pounds? It looks like 7.5.
There you go. I actually went on a scale and practiced a bit.
You got to be kidding me.
Well, like I said, when all you learn is from YouTube.
There's nothing wrong with YouTube.
And also a point when you're doing a single bevel.
Yeah.
The back side, you take it off. You're supposed to actually do it at a different angle.
Right.
Again, putting pressure down there. At the end, of course,
That's somewhat satisfying.
very satisfying. At the end, if there ever is an end, I will hit it.
This is where you put one of those SpongeBob things in. It says 1 month later.
Yeah. Oh, it bent. It warped a little bit.
Oh yeah, we warped it.
Yep. And
but we heated it and clamped it to a stiff surface and put it back in the oven. You got an edge?
I'm getting to. So this is a strop, like a piece of leather, like you see in the old time
like the barbershop.
And you know, before he gives Clint Eastwood a shave. Now, it's a little dirty. Now, what you don't do if it's on the strap, you don't do this and curve it under, because then you just dull it. You know, they're doing this stuff. That's Hollywood. They don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Now, when you're grinding, you grind away from you, so it's done this way. But when you strap, it would be
You pull it
right
away from the edge.
and it's You know, notice how I'm trying. You pick it up.
All right.
And then, of course, we want to do this.
The other side as well.
Does that too.
But you pull away from the edge, not toward it.
Right.
Let me see it.
We're getting there.
We're getting there?
We're getting there.
Yeah, we are.
So,
I've got some Lurpak we could spread on butter with this.
butter, because we don't do vegetable oil anymore.
No, we don't.
You got different types of knives. Everybody thinks you got your outdoor camp knife. They're thick, double bevel. This is single bevel. I'll tell you why in a minute. You have your double bevel, and the angle is going to be like this. That's for cutting wood, some rough whittling, and it's durable. When you get down to like fillet knives, sushi knives,
A lot more narrow.
very narrow.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be cutting wood with it. That's why chefs get real particular when you pick up their good knife. You remember how grandma say, "That's my good scissors"?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, well, same process. A knife for everything. But now the concept of the everyday carry, I'm not going to be chopping wood with this. It's decorative, and it's just meant to cut. All right? So
Yeah.
that's what we got
cool.
here.
All right, carry on, sir. All right, we got your blade refined there pretty well there, ain't you, Mr. Forge?
It is trying to be. There's many mistakes were made, but you know,
Yeah.
if you ain't making mistakes, you're not learning. At least don't make the mistakes more than once.
Show everybody what we made earlier. The brass piece right here.
All right, so what we did, this is a bolster.
The bolster.
Yeah, and it folds over here. Thought it was copper, it's not, it's brass.
Yeah.
Brass is hard to do, but whatever. So this part was supposed to be a little bit lower than this, but I made this tooth fat.
That was the design criteria. You didn't mess that up.
No, I did. But anyway, see, this is going to be...
So once you polish that up, that brass will really shine.
yeah, it looks
And then
nice.
this guy here, this will be on the back this will be on the handle. So when you put this inside the handle, I think you can understand where we're going with that,
Yeah.
or where he's going with it.
And,
rather.
and of course, this is all going to be glued and pinned in. And when it's doing that, it's like this.
Yeah.
Okay? So then you got one knife piece. And the
Yeah.
handle, you know, we'll carve it down.
And then you accidentally leave it in your luggage and go to the airport, and it goes away.
They wouldn't dare.
Oh yeah, they would.
Oh, would they? You know, here's the bevel, the single one.
Yeah.
But you still have to polish the back. You got to flatten the back more. It's just physics, you know.
Let's just clean that off a little bit.
Nope. My time. Messing your stuff up. Never mind.
You're fine.
Put it right back there.
Yeah, that's actually important. Don't lose that. Part of the Corvette. Seriously.
You got 2 bolts.
I got 2 bolts in that thing.
You got, you know something? I'm gonna keep it right here.
Yep.
So nothing happens to
That's
it.
an idle stop solenoid. Goes on the carburetor. There you go. Homemade, out of a file.
Out of a fire.
Still got to make the handle though. I think Mr. Forge is going to do that when he gets back home. We might start on it tomorrow though. We got a piece of oak cut for it already.
Yeah, it won't be too much to do. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna ask you to put a pin in it.
You want me to drill a hole in a file?
Yeah.
Is that what you're telling me?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Well, actually, you can do it down here. We'll wrap this in some cold, wet.
To keep the heat out of
Right,
it.
to keep the heat out of here.
Yeah.
And then he's going to get the torch on it. Go ahead and just put it on the drill press and go boop.
Well, as long as we keep it slow, it'll probably be okay. So the material you put on there is a piece of roof flashing, I think, is what this is. So it's nothing extravagant, just a piece of roofing material. You know what?
Are you taking my drink?
I don't know.
Yes.
Is this
I
yours?
swear. Yes. So Paul, mine is, you know, so he wants his drink and mine.
All right, that's all we have time for this weekend. I think here in a couple of weeks, old Mr. Carport Forge will fully refine that knife, put a handle on it. I gave him a piece of oak wood from over there in the corner and a little more brass. And I think once he's done, it'll look pretty nice. So I believe he is going to take a little footage up at his place and let us know what it looks like when it's all finished. All right, that's all for now. I appreciate you guys stopping by the channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to be notified whenever I release a new video, don't forget to click that little bell down below. You guys have a good one. And remember to enjoy restoring, caring for, and driving your classic Cadillac.